What's up guys, it's the Cheapster here, back with another video, and today we got another react video. And the video we're doing today is what I spent in a week as a 22-year-old in New York City. Now this is December 6, 2019, so this was back before everything happened in 2020. Actually like right before, so this would have been right before the time that everything started to shut down there. But this video has 329,000 views. This is Elena Taber, Elena? I'm sorry. I literally, all these ones I do, I feel like I have so much trouble knowing how you pronounce the name, but I think it's Elena Taber or Taber. But she has 636,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So go check her channel out after you watch this. So first off, let's get started with a like and a subscribe. But I'm excited for this one because this is like a year after I lived in New York for like 6 months. So I kind of have an idea of like what New York should be like. But of course, it's different for everybody because you can live in different areas in New York and really get different experiences. But yeah, this is kind of interesting to me to see what it's like for somebody who's living there that's not living there like for a time on business like my wife was and I was there with her. So yeah, let's see how much she spends in a week and see if she can be Cheapster approved. We've had a very good string of all Cheapster approved people, so this one's New York City, so it's going to be a little bit tougher, but you can still do a lot in New York City and try to be cheap.
How's it going? It's Elena. Welcome back to my channel.
Ilana? Is that what she said? Ilana. So it's Ilana.
Today I'm going to be talking about what I spend in a week as a 22-year-old living in New York City, working as like a freelancer in social media and content creation, marketing, and media consulting.
Okay, so I wondered there, like, I forgot to look in to see like kind of what she did, but I guess so she's doing like social media, so I don't know if that means she's like an influencer mostly doing YouTube or if it's like she has other jobs too. I would assume probably pretty well paying living in New York City.
Things here are so insanely expensive. So here compared to other cities, things are gonna be more expensive, just like food and transportation and rent.
I'd say one of the tough things too about New York City is that you can get things for cheaper, but because of just New York City, you have to take subways usually, or like it's not as easy to get around obviously. So there's like places you can go to get things cheaper, but it's such a hassle that sometimes it's like, is it even worth it to go there and get that for cheap? So that's kind of one of the interesting things about New York City.
Money is so relative. Like what could be a lot to me could be little to you. What could be a little to you could be a ton to me. It just depends. We're all in different places. As I was kind of preparing for this video, I thought it was really fascinating how the value of money and the way I see money has transformed so much over my life and in the past year that I've had a really frugal mindset when it comes to money throughout the years. When I was in college, I was working like a minimum wage job while being a student to try to like pay for my groceries and pay for my rent, and just like the thought of like getting a $4 latte would literally make me sweat. I'm like, I can't afford this. Like, is it worth it? Like, I'm gonna be like studying at this coffee shop for 4 hours, but like $4 is a lot.
$4 is a lot for a latte. I still think that, but I see what she's saying there. It's really about like how you want to use your money. That's definitely true. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like stuff like a $4 latte is expensive. I really wouldn't want to buy that much, but I would go out and buy like a $4 beer. So I guess it really depends on like what is worth it to you to spend your money on.
Jumping into my spending, I figured it was worth noting that I have several monthly fees. I pay for my rent, I pay for my gas and electric, I pay for my phone bill, I pay for my health insurance, and I invest in my Roth IRA for retirement.
Health insurance, that's going to be a rough one. It's always a rough one when you're a freelancer and have to get health insurance for yourself.
I also have some subscriptions, so that would be Spotify, Adobe Creative Cloud, Dropbox, Scribd, New York Times, and Calm, which is a meditation app.
That's not too bad. And some of those like Adobe and Dropbox and stuff, those are probably business expenses. If that's it, she didn't have like Netflix and like all those streaming services that most people have. So it's not too bad, but that's a lot of like things that would be tacked on that normally I'd be like, oh, that's a lot of stuff to have there. But maybe if that's it, then I guess that's not that much.
Also, I actually don't do a monthly subway card. I travel quite a lot. I've been traveling like 50% of every month, I think, since like May or June, and so I'm not here enough to make the unlimited Metro card worth it. And also every week changes for me. There's no such thing as consistency in my life.
Yeah, when I was in New York, there were sometimes I didn't even have the monthly Metro card. Usually I did because we would be kind of touring because we were only there short term. But it is like, it can definitely be easier to just get the pay card where you just pay for a certain amount of trips, especially because I didn't have to take the subway to work. I just walk to work every day. You can do a lot of walking in New York if things are close by. You don't need the subway, because honestly, sometimes if you try to take the subway to make it shorter, you're going to end up waiting for the subway. The subway's going to be delayed, and it's going to take longer than if you just walk there in the first place.
Also got groceries for pretty much the rest of the week for about $45, so that will probably cover a lot of my food. I try to eat in as much as possible.
That's not too bad for New York City. That's maybe slightly high, because everyone says in these videos that they're gonna just eat in, they don't eat out much, and then they eat out. So it's like, yeah, you do eat out. That's not really like your full week of groceries. If that's like her full week of groceries in another part of the country, I would say that $45 is actually pretty good. But definitely in New York, we're starting out well. We're starting out well with $45 there. I do wish she would say where she goes to shop. Like, does she go to Trader Joe's? Does she go to... There is some Aldi's in New York. They're hard to find. Like, where is it that you spent $45? Because that's important in New York.
I'm excited to see how much money I spend. I'm honestly really curious, a little nervous. Let's get into it and see you guys on Monday.
So I guess she's not going to go over those expenses, those monthly expenses. Hopefully she talks about them at the end, because I want to know what those are.
I worked at the Wing today, which is my co-working space that I mentioned previously, and that's pretty much it. So I left here in the morning, made my breakfast here using the groceries I bought, went to the Wing, spent $7.50 on a meal there. Yeah,
there we go. We're already starting with you eat most of your meals, but then the first day you're buying a meal out. Now, I've been around the block. I know how this works with these, what I spend in a week. Everybody always says that they eat all their meals in, and then they have all these meals out. Is it just one? Maybe Monday's a day that she does get meals out, and she was working at her co-working space. So, but $7.50, not too bad for New York. I mean, everything's just so expensive in New York. I don't know what that was that she got, but that's usually pretty good if you get a whole meal for $7.50 in New York. Even like the street carts, like getting a meal is usually more than like $7.50, so that's pretty good.
You can't bring in outside food to the Wing, which is kind of weird. It's just one of their policies. I'm sure it's to, you know, help them make more money. They have an incredible cafe there, so I have to end up buying lunch most days that I'm there. So I found tricks like the certain things on the menu that I can make the cheapest, because the average, let's say like bowl or salad there ends up being $12 or $13, which is quite steep in my opinion.
Yeah, so that's the thing there. They're getting her. So I can understand that then they won't let her bring food in. That kind of stinks. I mean, I get it for like businesses, you want to be able to like make money off people being there, but I'm kind of like, you know, I don't know, that kind of bothers me when businesses do that kind of stuff. I guess I should say, especially when it's like a cafe where it's meant to be more like with drinks and stuff that you can't bring in food, but I also do get it at the same time. But it does seem like I was a little too harsh here, because yeah, it sounds like she's trying to do what she can to figure out the best. I love that. I do that all the time. Like whenever I go to a new restaurant, I'm always like, just search the entire menu, see what like the best value thing is, the cheapest thing you can get for the most food, and then decide, do I actually want that, or do I want to get something a little more, or something more that I want. But I always know, pretty much any place I go to, I'm like, I know what the best value thing to get on that menu is. So the days where I'm like, I don't want to spend much, that's what I go get too. So I like that. That's good thinking there.
I'll sneak in like oranges or like a macro bar, but it's kind of awkward if you pull out a big homemade container of a meal, because they're like, yo, you can't do that.
Okay, so she's sneaking in food. That's pretty cheap. I like that one, especially like, you know, sneaking in just like a bar or something that they're not gonna see that. That's some points there. That's definitely some Cheapster points right there.
I walked all the way there because it was beautiful this morning, but then by the time it was dark and I was leaving, it was really cold, so I decided to subway home, and so I spent one swipe, and then again I made dinner at home. So pretty inexpensive average day.
This is uploaded in December, so I don't know when she actually filmed this, but yeah, it's cold in New York around that time, so I don't blame her for that one.
I realized last night I had a gift card for Everlane, and then I ended up spending $6 over the gift card to get it shipped out before I leave for a trip. So spent $6 yesterday.
Okay, well, if you got a gift card, I mean, it's still kind of spending it in a week. Sure, I guess you can get away with that because it's like you didn't fully spend it, but I don't know what Everlane is. Let me look it up. It looks like Everlane is closed. You know, I'll let that one slide because sure, you had a gift card. I guess we got to know where the gift card came from. Was it like a birthday present? Did you buy the gift card? Because if you bought the gift card and then you're using it now, it's kind of like you're paying for the gift card now. I don't know. It's a little bit of a loophole there. I'll let that one slide.
What is up? I'm actually headed home for the day right now to continue working at home, and I had had an event in the middle of the day, as you guys just saw. So that's obviously not normal, but then again, every week isn't normal, so it really just depends. Good morning, how's it going? It's Wednesday. I forgot to finish explaining yesterday what I spent money on because I was on the street and people were staring and I got really uncomfortable, and I'm still not good at vlogging in public.
I was actually gonna say, I was impressed that she like had that camera out and was just walking down the streets of New York, because it's gonna be a lot of people around, so it's kind of hard to just do that secretly.
I had a work event where I was checking out this skincare company. It was like a really strange part of New York where there was no nearby public transportation. There was only buses, but the buses were running behind. To get there, it would have taken like twice as long to subway, and I was running late. So I paid for an Uber, which I just always feel guilty when I Uber places, when I know I can pick public transportation. The Uber, I believe, was $6.50, so not terrible.
That's pretty good. I was thinking, oh no, she had to pay for an Uber, but $6.50, that's not too bad. I mean, the public transportation is about half that, so even if you're taking the subway, that's not really too bad then.
Only other money I spent yesterday was taking the subway home, which was $2.75, and that was it. I ate dinner at home, hung out with my roommates. It was great.
I feel like that can seem kind of expensive because it's almost like $10 in a day, but then again, you don't have a car, so you don't have your gas expense, your insurance, your fact that you've had to pay for the car and it's depreciating. So if this is like a more expensive travel day too, I think that all kind of balances out, if not cheaper, to live in New York when you don't need a car and stuff. Seems kind of expensive as a daily expense, but you can kind of just wipe it away because it's like, well, I mean, you'd have to have a car if you live somewhere else.
I just ran out of coffee, which is very unfortunate. I try not to buy coffee out. I usually just get like a really big container from my grocery store and just make like a cold brew, a little almond milk.
That's pretty good. She's not buying coffee out. That will definitely save you money, especially in New York.
And today is a filming day, so my assistant's coming over. I'm gonna be filming like a big video, and that's gonna take a good chunk of the day. And then the rest of the day I'm probably gonna work from home.
What was that? Let's see. Johnny Utah, Jackie Hayes, Georgie V. I'm confused. What am I reading here? Is this just a concert, I'm assuming? I don't know who these people are. Sorry. $13 plus a $4 fee, $17. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad for a concert. Concerts are expensive. I have no idea who this is. Maybe that's why it's not that expensive, but it doesn't sound too bad.
Today's been a very full day, but haven't spent any money until now. I ended up having to shoot multiple videos. I did a little in-person collaboration basically with a company here, but it was at my apartment, which was, you know, kind of unique. And then I just ate all my meals at home. So today I've only spent money on coffee that my assistant brought me.
There's some expensive coffee. I do have to say at this point though, she is starting to eat all her meals pretty much at home. And that is like a big expense. Pretty much everyone I watch, that's where people's that's where people's monies go. That's where people spend most of their money, is like on eating out.
Just right now I bought tickets to a concert of an artist that I really, really enjoy. His name's Johnny Utah. I've been loving his music for quite some time.
Yeah, that's pretty good. $17 is not bad for a concert, especially if it's somebody she like actually likes to listen to. It's not just like some random concert that she's just going to just to go to a concert, but that's pretty good. Also, see, these are the things you can do when you're not spending money eating out and getting meals and stuff. I mean, $17, you could easily spend more than that just eating out like one dinner meal in New York, especially if you're getting like drinks and stuff. So that's how you can spend your money, and then go to a concert instead of just, you know, getting some food that you could make at home for way cheaper.
So for me, and the way I value money, an experience like that is definitely worth spending my money on.
Exactly, instead of spending on like coffee or things like that. Even though you did spend $5.50 today on coffee, but it's okay. As long as you don't do that often.
So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow, and then tonight I think I'm going on a dinner date with Fletcher. So I might be spending a little bit of money, but so far I feel like it's been pretty cheap.
Here comes dinner date. Oh no, here comes the big spending.
What is up? It's Thursday. So yesterday night I got dinner with Fletcher, and we usually split all of our dinners when we go out together. He's not gonna be here for my birthday. So he has a work trip and then I have a work trip. So he treated me to dinner, which was really sweet of him. So I didn't spend any money on that.
All right, $0. Except, man, now Fletcher's what I spend in a week is it's gonna be crazy. That was probably expensive then, if that was like at a birthday dinner in New York. I want to know how much it was. How much did he pay?
And then this morning I realized I needed a few things for my trip, including a hard drive, which is really expensive, and a little neck rest because I have a 15-hour flight, which normally would be $120, but I had a gift card, so it ended up only being $60.
Yeah, wait a minute. Did you just know you were gonna do this video this week, so you just loaded up on gift cards and you're like, oh, I had a gift card for this? No, honestly, with this one, the hard drive, I'm assuming is probably like a work expense anyway. So like I always say in these videos, if you run businesses, like that stuff doesn't really matter that much because that's part of your business. Like you're spending that to then make money. So I don't really include that as like in what you're spending in a week. But I guess she did buy like a neck pillow. So who knows how much that was? I mean, was that from like Brookstone or something where the neck pillows could be like hundreds of dollars? Probably not. It's probably pretty cheap. So I would even take down what she spent, even though she's using this gift card loophole thing, which I gotta say, I've never seen this in these videos. You're really pulling that loophole. But yeah, I would even take the $60 down because it's probably just a neck pillow that's like not actually work expense. So I don't know, maybe $20 there or something, what she actually spent.
Also, this morning I took a workout class, forgot to film it, and I took it through ClassPass. ClassPass gives you an affiliate link, and so I've shared the affiliate link before, so I have some credit saved up, so I don't have to pay for those classes.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, ClassPass. I've heard of their like affiliate stuff, but bam, there it is. Well, I guess if you guys want to sign up for ClassPass, there you go.
Today I ended up working at home for the first half of the day. I just finished filming something, and then I'm going to the Wing, and it's going to be a little bit of a later night at the Wing, so I'll probably get an inexpensive dinner there because I have the concert right after and I won't have time to come home to make food, and then there's a good chance I'll probably get like a drink at the concert. So
got a bad feeling about tonight because she's got to go to the Wing, and that's the place that she can't bring food, and she's got to go there at dinner time, which I would assume might be more expensive to buy something than what she did for lunch. And then she's going to a concert, so oh no, I'm feeling some trouble here.
It's Friday morning now. Last night was super fun. I went to a show with Paulina and then my friend Anna, and so last night I spent that money on the ticket that I bought earlier this week. I took the subway there, which was $2.75, and then once there I spent $4 on a coat check because I had my laptop on me because I'd been working in the city all day, and then I spent $10 and I got a drink. There's no easy way for me to get home, so I spent $12 on Uber, so it was kind of an expensive night.
The coat check thing, I've never heard anyone actually spend money on that. I've never dealt with a coat check, so I don't really know, like, is that a good price? That seems, I mean, kind of cheap. They're not really doing that much, but I guess if you got to do it, since she had her laptop, that's a lot safer than losing thousands of dollars with your laptops if you get it stolen. So, and then $10 for, I'm assuming, one drink. That's steep. I wonder what the drink was. Was it at least like a cocktail? Probably not like some kind of draft thing or something like that. And you have no idea because like how big is that drink? It's probably not great because it's New York. Buying drinks in New York is very hard, but at least she only got one. Didn't spend a lot of money there. And the Uber for $12. Expensive, but I mean, I guess if the subways were closed and stuff, I don't know, I guess what are you gonna do?
Kind of an expensive night, but I really value those experiences. I love being able to support an artist, and music is just a huge part of my life, so it's definitely worth it. Tonight, I'm celebrating my birthday with friends because on my actual birthday, I'm gonna be in Korea. So I am going to go to a bar. I invited like 20 friends just to see who will come. Maybe grab dinner with a friend or two before. I think that's gonna be most of my Friday.
Okay, so now she's celebrating her birthday, which I'm assuming she's probably not gonna spend much because probably people are gonna buy drinks for her and stuff like that. Maybe she'll spend a little bit, but you know, this is an interesting week because everyone's just buying her stuff for her birthday. She's working these loopholes. She's doing it on a week that she's celebrating her birthday, so people are buying her stuff. She's got all these secret gift cards. I'm kind of wondering what you actually spend in a week.
Last night was so much fun. It was so special and it was incredible. So I ended up spending $20 on sushi before. We got like takeout just to like be able to talk.
I mean, that's kind of expensive for a meal, but of course this is tough because it's like she's celebrating her birthday. So to me, that's the times when you do spend a lot more of your money because these are like the times where you kind of try to be cheaper throughout the year so that you can enjoy your times like this. But $20 isn't too bad, especially in New York. And since it's celebrating her birthday, sushi's expensive like pretty much anywhere, so especially if you're going to New York. So again, it's one of those but I mean, if it's celebrating your birthday, you really can't, I can't say anything about that.
And then my friends were so sweet. I didn't end up spending any money on birthday drinks because they were kind enough to treat me, which was so great. And the places we went didn't have covers or anything like that.
That's awesome. So there you go. She didn't have to spend anything on birthday drinks and no covers.
Now I'm walking around. I'm headed to the West Village, Greenwich Village area for brunch. We're meeting up with some other friends that weren't able to come last night. And then I'm going to be actually spending most of the day at home packing. So leave for Korea tomorrow.
Ooh, $24. Man, what even is this? That's a lot. It looks like she has coffee there too, so she definitely probably spent a good amount on coffee, and then they're having a sit down, so you're gonna have to tip. I don't know what that is. That doesn't look that good to me. Dude, that looks kind of gross. That's $24. No, we're spending the money. We were doing so good. Here we go. Here's the last day. We were doing so good. I'm feeling a little bit worse. And now she's about to go be on an airplane, so I feel like you're going to spend money there. Just with traveling, I feel like there's always extra expenses that come up, like buying food and stuff. So I'm not feeling so good now.
Hello from Monday. I didn't film yesterday because I spent the entire day on an airplane. For 15 hours, I was on an airplane flying from JFK to Seoul. So the only money I spent yesterday was the Uber to the airport, which was $44, and then...
Ooh, $44. Man, $44. I mean, I guess, like, maybe there's times when that's kind of unavoidable, but I do know there are ways to get to JFK with the subways, and then you do have to pay for, I think it's like a connecting, like, air train kind of thing that takes you from the subway. My wife has done JFK when we lived there. She flew out of it a few times. I never flew out of it, so I don't know it completely well, but I guess maybe in those situations where maybe it's like you gotta like finish work and stuff, and if you spend all this time on the train, although you can kind of do your work on the train stuff unless you had to leave things. I don't know, maybe there's reasons why it makes sense to take an Uber, but $44, that's expensive. That's a lot of money. But on the bright side here, I don't know why she's going to Korea. I don't think she said, but maybe that is like a business expense too, because she can deduct her travel. So maybe that's a little bit better if that's the case with that.
And then I spent, I think, $6.50 getting chips and water before my flight.
There's that added on expense. There's always something you gotta like buy with traveling. Plus it makes traveling more fun because traveling can be pretty miserable. So getting like a snack or something could really make it a lot better. I guess too, we kind of have to factor in, hey, you took a flight. So how much was that flight? That's added in, I guess. I don't know. She still didn't say why she's going to Korea, so I don't know if this is like a business thing or just a personal trip. But again, was it a gift card that you paid for your flight?
Now it is time to calculate the final cost. Let's see how we did.
So I guess she's not gonna break down like rent and stuff. I'm a little disappointed about that. I wanted to see how much she was paying for rent and all those kind of added expenses and stuff.
According to my calculations, the final number is $281.72. I think I got that right.
So I'm kind of confused here because it's $281. I'm assuming there's no way that's like her rent and stuff like that added in. So I think the $281 is just the total of everything she spent outside of her spending. Ooh. So I guess this is a little difficult because there's some stuff in there that I was like, you know, I wouldn't count that because it's probably business expenses. And she had some things like the Uber to the airport. She probably doesn't have that kind of stuff normally. But also there was some stuff like she shopped and had gift cards where I don't know where those came from. She had things where it was her birthday and people paid for her. So this one's kind of tough. I would probably say the stuff that was supposed to be business that I was gonna take out, I probably would leave in. And she even said that this is like pretty normal. So like $230. I have no idea then what to estimate on her like living expenses. So it's kind of hard to judge like how much she's actually spending, because a lot of times when people have like cheaper living expenses, then they kind of spend more, and it's kind of like averages out a little bit. But I would assume her living expenses probably aren't that cheap, especially being in New York. It's got to be expensive. So I don't know. I mean, I'd probably say then that's like spending like $1,000 a month on just like entertainment and food and stuff like that, which obviously is like $12,000 a year. And there's probably stuff that comes up throughout the time. And again, like I said, you really don't know like how much money people are making. So it's like, is this expensive to her to spend this much or is it not? You really can't know that. So basically I just judge it based on how cheap is it and kind of take into account where they are. So with New York City, and kind of their age too, which 22, that's a lot of money to be spent at 22. When I was 22, I was living about as cheap as I possibly could. I think I was still probably eating like ramen for a lot of meals and stuff. But of course, I probably did not have anywhere near the kind of money she has. If she's living in New York and able to afford that, she probably has a pretty good job. But yeah, I would say that her expenses are kind of high for like that kind of stuff, entertainment and all that.
I appreciate experiences 10 times over like a material good. You know, to each their own. Like we all value money and we all spend money in different ways.
I do agree with her there. Like spending the money on like experiences and stuff, I think that's really where you kind of get like a good return. If you go out with a friend and you like buy dinner and stuff, it's a lot more worth it than like people who are like, oh, I paid, you know, $40 to get Uber Eats or something for my meal just one random night. I mean, that kind of stuff is like, that's just such a waste. Like what that food does like nothing. You're not really going to remember eating it unless, of course, it's some amazing meal, which if you ordered it with delivery, probably not going to be some amazing meal because it'll come kind of soggy and stuff. I mean, I'm a delivery driver. Trust me, I know it doesn't stay very fresh going to the door. So I do agree there. I think she's thinking the right way with that it's about experiences. It's about trying to like, you know, spend your money and what is more valuable to you. She also said that she like tracks all her stuff on Mint. So that's pretty good that she's at least keeping track of it. And that tells me that she must know that this spending is totally fine and she has no issue being able to spend this and still be able to have money. Okay, so that is it. So now it's time for the grade. I hate this part kind of because I'm not trying to be like judgmental on people spending and stuff. It's not really supposed to be like that, but you know, I gotta give it a grade on the cheap scale. I have to. And I think every person I've had, I've given a 5 out of 5 and they've been Cheapster approved. Like giving somebody not 5 out of 5 is kind of hard. And I don't think I can do a 5 out of 5 here. Honestly, it's kind of tough because a lot of people, I rate them based on like their entire spending, like their rent and all that kind of stuff too. She didn't include that. So all I've got to rate her on is the stuff that she spent throughout the week, the entertainment purchases and everything. And I do want to say it seems like she pays attention to her money. I think she obviously knows that she has the money, and she did say she's investing into an IRA at the beginning, which is great because that shows me that she's not just like blowing the rest of her money living paycheck to paycheck like a lot of people do. So it's not that she's not smart with her money, but I think on the cheap scale, I would have to say I'd probably give this a 3 out of 5. But because I do take into account where it is, I would say New York City, I do have to take that into account. That's pretty expensive. And I would probably then give that a 4 out of 5. So honestly, not a bad score. And she also talked a lot about like in the past, how she lived so much cheaper and stuff. So she definitely knows like how to save money. So I'm assuming she's probably making more money now and just feeling more like comfortable with spending. And you know, when you're in New York, it's an experience. You do kind of want to spend more. There's a lot of stuff too that you want to spend on because it's just right there in front of you all the time. So you want to do more things and it costs more. So it just makes it a really expensive place to live. But now we got to go down into the comments. See, I don't think I've done this. I think everyone's been 5 out of 5. So this is bothering me doing a 4 out of 5. I can't imagine if I get somebody who's like a 1 out of 5 because I don't want to come across like I'm being like judgmental, like, yeah, you stink 1 out of 5. But I gotta grade them. I mean, that's how I do these. All right, so here we go. 4 out of 5 on the cheap scale. Oh, I feel kind of like a jerk for doing that. I don't know. I don't like being a judge. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to be Simon Cowell. I got to get my British wife up here and teach me how to be mean. I'm just kidding. She didn't deserve mean. 4 out of 5. That's pretty good. It's just not Cheapster approved. But you know what? Cheapster approved is not truly an easy thing to get to. You got to be pretty cheap. But anyway, guys, that is what she spends in a week as a 22-year-old. Go check her video out. Go check out her channel if you guys want to see more of the stuff that she does. Yeah, not too bad. 4 out of 5. Like I said, it's just not Cheapster approved, but it's still a good score. But thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Cheapster React. These are really fun to do. It's fun to see like what other people spend their money on, what other people kind of value like over certain things. Some people like getting food is super important. That's where they want to spend their money. Other people like her, which I would say I more agree with, she likes to spend on experiences like concerts and going out to eat with friends and stuff. But yeah, they've been really fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked the video, remember to do the cheapest thing you can today. Tap that like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this. And I will see you guys in the next video. And remember, stay cheap.
Hey, you better be saving that money. Don't you be spending it now. You're still here watching this? You might as well just subscribe. Why would you not at this point?